So tonight is all about the Amitabha Stupa. It's the original vision for what we wanted to have happen this evening was to have a sort of a rockin' festival of musicians at the Amitabha Stupa and have a webcast there. But there were a number of obstacles, such as there's no electricity at the Amitabha Stupa, and there was no way to broadcast a Webathon from the Amitabha Stupa, a couple of small challenges. So since we have electricity and the ability to webcast here, that's why this is taking place in Maryland. The reason we're having this tonight is that by the end of June, we do have to resolve the financial situation of the Amitabha Stupa in Sedona, Arizona. It's a multi-pronged approach that we have going. It has a lot of momentum behind it. There are different aspects to it, but of course, one of the basic realities of the world that we live in right now is that you do have to come to the table with at least some cash. The program that they have been working on in Sedona remarkably with some spectacular events has raised, and take a breath, I mean, this is extraordinary, $60,000. So we are, it is a great accomplishment, and we really need to hit $100,000. So tonight, we are going to embark on getting that extra $40,000. We begin this evening with a $10,000 matching funds grant, and also another one that I just found out about. I sort of was hoping, but it's another $3,000 matching funds grant. So, couple of things. There aren't really any rules, but one of the things that you could do, this is an evening not of just fundraising, but an evening of also transmitting blessings. We are going to be talking about one of the most extraordinary things that you or I or anyone else is going to run across in their life, and that's going to be stupas. This stupa, many stupas. And to introduce the Amitabha Stupa, it's off to my right, your left, but we will go over what makes it so special and so extraordinary. And I just lost my train of thought, but, you know, which is going to happen, yeah? That's where I was going, and thank you. Okay, you can call in now and make a donation, and it's 301-972-7190. People are available to take your credit card. You're also really free if you, one of the things I wanted to encourage people to do is even if you're listening tonight and you don't have 2 nickels to rub together, one of the most generous things that you can do is to share what's happening right now. Share the links, share the tweets, let people go to the website, let people see these images. It's an extraordinary blessing that we would like to share with you and you to share with others as the evening goes along. So it's, you know, pushing these blessings out as well as really trying to reach this goal of securing this precious land. Another way you can ask questions and ask about making donations is to send an email to kpc@tara.org. And if you want to make a donation online right away, you can go to, and I have a problem remembering this email for some reason, it's stupas.org/friendsdonate. stupas.org/friendsdonate. A couple of other things. We have an extraordinary book that I just found out about. So for the first 3 $500 donations, because we only have 3 of these, and it's a limited edition book that was translated, sponsored by Megan wrote me a description, and I need my glasses. Limited edition produced by Nyingma Palyul Retreat in Darping, Nepal. There won't be any more. And she was going through the book and she said, this is an extraordinary book. It has information about Megyur Dorje that you will not find anywhere else. And she said, I wish I had $500 so I could just get one right now. So it is something rare, something extraordinary, and something available to you. So I think with that, we'll start. The lineup for tonight is we're really going to learn some things about stupas. We're going to learn about, this is an Amitabha Stupa, So we asked the question, who is Amitabha? And then we're going to talk about the need for pilgrimage, which seems to be increasing as we go through time. Things get denser and denser and crazier. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to go through a little bit of the history of the stupa. We're going to talk about how a modern artist has interpreted this ancient tradition of art into a modern statue of Guru Rinpoche, which is going to be available to all of us. Then we're going to go into the building of the stupa. And finally, we're going to talk about how a stupa actually works, what the engine is behind a stupa that makes it so extraordinary and so transformative. So with that, we're going to turn it over to Ani Rinchen, and she's going to talk about who is Amitabha. And here comes Ani Rinchen, who doesn't want to be on camera but a second. And sorry, it's so wet.
Oh, well. Oh, well. We're going to start with a once upon a time story. Many aeons ago, which is really inconceivable time, because an aeon in and of itself is an inconceivable time. There was a monk named Dharmakara. And Dharmakara made many aspirational prayers about how he would benefit sentient beings when he attained Buddhahood. He was aware that there already existed many pure lands for those who had abandoned non-virtue, who had accumulated a great deal of merit, and had practiced the Dharma. Those pure lands are very difficult to reach. For those who had not abandoned non-virtue, who had not accumulated a great deal of merit, and could not practice in a rigorous way, what would happen to them? And so his vow and aspiration was, may a pure land be established that is reachable by ordinary sentient beings of impure karma and beings of karmic evil who have not abandoned non-virtue. Through Buddha Amitabha's great aspiration, his vow, and his vast storehouse of merit, Dewa Chen, the land of great bliss, manifested. For those who have no accomplishment or little accomplishment, who have faith in Buddha Amitabha, if they call out to him at the time of their death, they will be reborn in Dewa Chen. This pure land is geared to and created for ordinary people just like you and me. In the Vajrayana tradition, we have the practice of Poa, the transference of consciousness at the time of death, to Amitabha's pure land. Among all of the Vajrayana practices, of which there are many, Poa is the easiest to accomplish, requiring as few as only 3 days of retreat. And a retreat is available to you, and if you're interested, you can send an email to tara.org, and we'll send you more information about that. Buddha Amitabha's name means immeasurable light or limitless radiance, because light rays from his body pervade every Buddha realm, illuminating them all. His body is ruby red, which symbolizes the warmth of his compassion extending to all beings. Like the setting sun, his radiant form warms and pacifies the hearts of all who gaze at him. As head of the lotus family, he represents gentleness and openness. His posture is one of composure and stillness. There is a serene smile of blissful wisdom on his face. Amitabha sits in the aspect of meditating, encouraging the viewer to follow the essential teaching of the Buddha to subdue one's mind. He displays the 32 major and 80 minor marks of a Buddha. One of the main marks that he displays is the Ujnisha, or head mound. This was gained from bowing down with reverence to the 2 Buddhas he connected with over many lifetimes of practicing the path, and manifested when he attained Buddhahood. He has one face, symbolizing that the Dharmakaya, the truth body of a Buddha, is free from all conceptual complication. His 2 arms represent skillful means or compassion and wisdom, and his 2 hands in meditative posture signify the union of compassion and wisdom. He holds a begging bowl filled with nectar, symbolizing his kindness toward sentient beings by giving vast and deep Dharma teachings. He wears the 3 robes, denoting gradual instruction of beings through the stages of the path. His legs are in Vajra posture because he never wavers from resting in the equality of samsara and nirvana. Amitabha is associated with the Western direction, and he embodies discriminating wisdom, which arises when thoughts of desire and craving are purified. It is believed that birds in particular have strong desire and craving, so as a symbol of craving transformed into discriminating wisdom, Amitabha's throne is supported by 8 peacocks. There aren't any peacocks in that picture, but they're there. They're there. Being born in Dewa Chen does not mean that one is enlightened. It means that one is born in a place where all the positive and auspicious conditions of the accumulation of merit and primordial wisdom are available. One will be able to abandon all non-virtue and practice to tame and train the mind until it is ripe for enlightenment. With great faith and a desire to be born there, one will take birth in Dewa Chen. Ah, peacocks, there they are. And you can't see the other 6, but they're there too. When one is born in Dewa Chen, one magically appears in the pollen heart of a lotus flower. If one has any doubt, one may still be born in Dewa Chen, but one's lotus flower will be a closed bud, which will remain closed until all doubt and negativity are eliminated. Then the lotus blossom will open, and one will be in the presence of Buddha Amitabha. Although one could not have taken birth in the pure lands of other Buddhas, once one has magically been born on an open lotus flower in Dewa Chen, one can travel to other pure lands simply by wishing to go there. One possesses unobscured clairvoyant powers, including the ability to see other beings in their particular worlds and give them protection and blessings, or, at the time of their death, to go to the bardo to meet them and bring them to Dewa Chen. One is born with a golden body with telepathic and extrasensory powers. If one wishes to make offerings to the Buddhas, the offerings automatically manifest from one's hands. That's so amazing. Merit and wisdom accumulate very rapidly in Dewa Chen. Buddha Shakyamuni said, "To pray to be reborn in Dewa Chen accumulates as much merit as if you were to offer the 7 types of jewels and other precious substances filling the 3,000 world systems." If you are not familiar with the prayer to be reborn in Dewa Chen, contact us at tara.org and we will send it to you. Let me describe Dewa Chen for you. The earth itself is not rough. There are no stones. It is completely smooth and even and composed of jewel dust. The ground is soft, and if one fell on it, one would bounce. There is no way to stub your toe or hurt yourself. Everything is soft. Dewa Chen is very vast, and one has a feeling of expansiveness. There are no alterations of light and shade. Instead, there is an all-pervasive light that comes from the physical form of Buddha Amitabha, the Buddha of limitless light. The entire realm is infused with the luminosity of Buddha Amitabha's enlightened body. The trees in Dewa Chen are wish-fulfilling trees, trees that grant whatever you need. They are made of 7 precious gems. All the roots are of gold, the trunks are silver, the branches lapis lazuli. The large leaves are crystals, and the small ones are pyrites. The blossoms are pearls, and the fruits are diamonds. The branches of the trees are filled with various birds, all of whom are emanations of Buddha Amitabha. They have melodious voices, and they sing Dharma teachings in such a way as to delight and pacify the mind. Everyone there who hears the melodious sound of the Dharma becomes peaceful, happy, and content. There are many rivers, streams, and brooks that run with scented water. The water has 8 qualities. Its essence is very cool, its taste delicious, its outer appearance light. It is soft to the touch, very clear, and unsullied by stones or pebbles. If one drinks it, it is soothing to the throat and stomach. On the waters are Buddha manifestations of geese, ducks, and cranes. If one wishes to bathe in one of the many pools, one descends a flight of 7 steps made of precious stones. When one enters the pool, which is very deep, the depth of the water adapts itself to the size of one's body. The pools are surrounded by fragrant utpala and lotus blossoms, emanating light rays on the tips of which are innumerable Buddhas, each surrounded by arhats. The land is filled with gloriously scented lotus blossoms. From the pollen heart of each lotus blossom emanates an abundance of light rays. On the tip of each ray is a Buddha teaching the Dharma in such a way that the mind is completely stripped of any negative emotions. There is no sickness, no old age, no poverty, no death. All beings are equally beautiful and equally replete with positive qualities. There are no faults, no lacks, no stain, no suffering of any kind. Not even the word suffering can be heard in the Pure Land of Great Bliss. Having taken birth in Dewa Chen, one does not hear any more of the lower existences. There are no ordinary women, only goddesses. 3,000 emanated to serve each individual. I have to say for myself, this was really very helpful. I am at an age where I think about death and dying and have had some fear about that probability in my life. And this I'm not cured, but this has shown me exactly where I need to go in my practice. And I feel a whole lot better. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Annie Rinchen.